Alright, welcome to the video today. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about Shortgaze and Ambush, kind of the difference between them, how I prefer different ones in different situations, and that whole kind of scenario. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so starting off with Shortgaze, I've been using Shortgaze for probably like the last year or so, and it has been my preferred scope for a very long time. And originally before this, before aim assist was part of the discussion, because remember like when Destiny first came out, everybody was using Ambush. A large portion of the reason behind that is because there was no leaked info about, you know, aim assist and all this stuff. And I feel like that kind of skewed people's choices between choosing which scope they actually liked better. And especially when someone is getting into sniping and they don't really know which scopes are better for what, or they just haven't really used all of them. They just look at, you know, what people are saying on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, that whole sort of thing, and all of those platforms when it comes to sniping discussions are mainly ruled by aim assist. And that's kind of the main reason I feel like for a lot of people getting into sniping and choosing Shortgaze as their first primary scope. But for me, I used Ambush for a very, very long time. And the only reason I ever started using Shortgaze is because of that very thing. I heard discussions about aim assist. At that time, Varix was selling the Shadow Veils, which obviously had the most aim assist in the game, and he was selling it. And I figured, why not pick it up? And ever since then, it felt kind of awkward at first, and I really didn't like the scope because I'd been so used to Ambush. But after a while, you know, I got used to it and I never went back after that. Obviously, I've thrown on Ambush from time to time in my lives montage and a lot of other videos. You see me using Ambush on snipers. But as far as my go-to, like default scope, I haven't used Ambush as that role or as that scope for a very long time. And I've actually recently kind of got back into it, and that's my motivation for making this video, kind of why I made it. And I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I realized my shot got a lot better when I put Ambush on, because before, a lot of my snipes were not, I wouldn't say relying on aim assist, but a lot of them were drag scopes, kind of messy twitch shots, and I really didn't line up most of my shots. And I found that when I use Ambush, and I first, you know, transitioned from Shortgaze to Ambush, my shot was really, really bad. But kind of as you take the time to learn it, your shot gets better as you go, and then you kind of realize that you just become a lot more accurate overall once you get used to Ambush. And Shortgaze is obviously really nice because, you know, the reticle is really small, it has a nice aim assist on it, has aim assist added instead of subtracted like Ambush has. And the main thing for me, kind of that I've noticed, because if you don't know, I play in sweaty games, soon to be, we aren't going to call them sweaties anymore, starting in Rise of Iron apparently because of private matches or whatever. But when you're playing against really good snipers, like top tier snipers, usually depending on, you know, if you're both around like the same skill level, most of the time if you're in a sniper battle at medium to long range, Shortgaze is going to win every single time. And that's kind of the main thing I noticed, is that I was doing really well with Ambush, because I actually got a really nice Ambush longbow recently that I've been having a ton of fun with. And I've noticed that when I use that sniper, I do really well against people thorn shotgunning and just, you know, not sniping or whatever, and it's really easy to use. And one thing to mention, actually, it's kind of weird, on all other scopes, I believe, or maybe it's Shortgaze only, but on Shortgaze, your recoil goes up. But the weird thing about Ambush is that when you get shot, your recoil actually bounces down a little bit, which is something to consider. It's not really a pro or a con. It's just kind of something I wanted to point out. But getting back on topic, I noticed that having a thicker reticle that's not maybe as accurate or precise as Shortgaze can be a little bit harder to snipe people at long range in general, even if they don't have their sniper out or they have their primary or whatever. But when it comes to like short to medium range sniping, I found that I prefer Ambush in most situations, especially when I'm playing against people who aren't sniping. But even then, if they are sniping, if I'm at short to medium range, a lot of times I feel like I have the upper hand with Ambush. But as we kind of transition into the medium and longer ranges, that's where I found that it starts to get a little bit harder. I've been playing against snipers who I've been playing for like the last 4 to 5 months with a Shortgaze sniper, a quick draw, Shortgaze, hidden hand, her benevolence. But as soon as I transitioned into my longbow, I noticed that people that I would be winning sniper fights with, you know, in the past or whatever, while I was using Shortgaze, of course they're still using Shortgaze in this scenario, right? But as I transitioned to Ambush, I kind of noticed that it's a little bit harder to outsnipe them because you have to be a lot more precise, and obviously having a wider reticle and less zoom and less aim assist is going to be a lot harder to snipe people at range with. And I've kind of noticed it from both sides, where if I play against someone who's using Ambush, a lot of times, even though my teammates might be getting sniped a lot, I noticed that I'm not getting sniped nearly as much as I would have been if they had Shortgaze on. So it's kind of weird to think about it that way, but for sniper battles in general, Shortgaze is going to be better, but I definitely prefer using ambush when it comes to just like generally shooting people who are shooting back with a primary or don't see you at all. It just kind of comes down to preference, but ambush is definitely a really fun scope to play around with. So don't rule off any roles that have ambush on them compared to Shortgaze. Just use them for a while, play with them, have some fun with them, and I guarantee that even though maybe at first ambush feels a little bit unreliable and you're not as good when you have ambush on, just take a while to get used to it, and you're definitely gonna have a lot more fun. Alright, so that pretty much wraps it up for the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys didn't know, I also have a Twitch channel that is where I live stream. So instead of watching my my previously captured gameplay with a commentary on top, if you want to see me play live, it's twitch.tv/SirDimetriousyt. I'll have a link to that in the description if you want to check it out, but nonetheless, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.